Lipless crankbaits. Down there in Florida, actually this week I did really good. It helped me make it to the championship round. But over my whole career, you know, growing up in California, obviously Clear Lake, obviously the California Delta. There's some other grassy type lakes. I'm sure you guys have all heard of Gunnersville. Florida, obviously, Seminole, you name it. It's predominantly like a pre-spawn type bait, you know. But I enjoy throwing this bait so much that I've really kind of learned to use it more as a tool and not just a grass fishing bait. And I think that's a big misconception. I know a lot of people, like I was just talking to a really good friend of mine, lives at Gunnersville. He's like, yeah, it's time for the traps, bring out the traps. And then as soon as they go on the beds, he puts it away till January of next year. And I've caught some really big bags and a bunch of fish. The only time I really don't utilize it is when they actually a huge percentage of the fish are on beds or spawning. But prior to that and after that, all the way into the dead of winter, it's on. I mean, I have one tied on at least one tied on. I don't know if we have pictures. I think Justin took some pictures of my rattle trap box, and just the one I have in the boat. Yeah, that's an issue right there. That's all my ones I carry with me in the boat, and then I have another 2 boxes just like that of brand new ones, because much like Florida, you know, I lost a couple to some pickerel. I was fishing it actually way back in pads around hydrilla clumps, so I'd get them snagged way back in there, and I didn't want to ruin the fishing area by going in there. But so I want to just talk with you about, you know, the right setup first of all for throwing this here is a TN70. It's a Jackal lipless crankbait. So the 70 is the size I go with most of the time. It's a little, I think it's some weird weight. I forget what the Japanese weight scale is, but I would say it's like a 5/8 ounce, and then they make a 60, which is like a 3/8 ounce. So the 70 is the one I throw most of the time. I'll go to the 60 when I'm fishing extremely shallow, or I fish through an area and it has a different rattle than the TN70. So if I'm fishing an area, you know, over the course of a 3 or 4 day tournament, I'll give them a different look, a different sound, a different depth, and it shocks me how many, you know, you catch 15 fish off of one dock on a TN70. I've caught them all, and then you change angles or bait size or bait color, and you'll catch 10 more off that same dock, and they're all different fish. So it's just one of those things that, you know, you kind of got to use it just like anything else in your boat. You use it as a tool, you know. But one of the most probably important things when fishing a lipless crankbait is the rod. I mean, you could have the sharpest hooks on there and, you know, the right line and everything, but if you don't have the right rod, you're going to lose a lot of fish. You're not going to be able to fish it effectively. We did a live, Bass University Live the other day, and I was demonstrating on the water. This is a little bit more difficult because I can't cast or anything. But basically what you want in a rod is you want something with more of a parabolic bend. So you don't want like a flipping stick or a swim bait rod. You want something that's going to allow you to fish that bait, and when they eat it, to absorb that bite, so you're not pulling it right out of their face. This here is a 7'7" Ritual Angling rod. It's a new rod company that I signed with, and I have a lot of input on the design. I like the 7'7". We make the same model in a 7'2", and overall it's just a great kind of reaction bait rod. You know, I use it for chatterbaits and spinner bait, swim jig, that kind of thing. But the next thing is the reel. I don't know if we have my reels up there. Oh, sorry. Am I jumping around on you?
No, I'll get it for you.
Okay.
There we go.
So 90% of the time I'm throwing an 8.5-to-1 Metanium XG. And the reason for that is, as a whole, you're fishing a lipless crankbait fairly quick. I mean, you're covering water a lot. And so if there is times where I need to slow it down for that deeper grass or whatever, I just reel slower. But so many times I'm either burning it or, you know, using that yo-yo technique, which I'll talk about, or ripping it out of the grass, and you got to have a high-speed gear ratio to catch back up to your bait, because if you lose contact with that bait, you don't know what's going on. You might miss a bite, or it's just not a good situation. So me and my buddy back home, he's fishing a lot with me, and he's always on my case. Why are you throwing 16-pound test? I throw a lot of Crank FC Sunline. 16 is, for the lipless deal, it's the best overall line that I have found for my personal use. I've caught them up to 12 pounds at Clear Lake and Delta and all over the place.
It's Mike Iaconelli. This is Bass U TV.
Here's what's awesome about Bass U TV.
You get the top instructors.
Real tools that help you catch more fish consistently.
And that's why you want to check out Bass U TV.
Join the Bass U family.
Welcome to Bass U TV.